Going.
Good, how are you?
I'm all right, thank you.
Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries at all. Thank you for having me.
As a band, you are paving the way for a change in the music industry. An example of this is obviously the Sleep Society. So, could you tell me a bit kind of how that works and why you decided to kind of take this step? And do you think it's the way forward for artists in the industry, like in the future?
I think it should at least be an option for bands, because I think when we were coming up, we were definitely caught in the waves of, oh, we like getting some success, we're turning heads, and it was a good feeling. It was like, we were achieving things that we have always dreamed of. You put these things on a pedestal, like, oh, labels are interested, management's interested, and we found ourselves not, there was good and bad people that we worked with. They weren't all bad, so I don't want to demonize everybody. But I think ultimately what it boils down to is that nobody is going to care about your band or whatever it is as much as you. And I think you really need to protect that, Um, to everybody else, you're just like another person or another band or another creative on their roster. And they're just not going to care about it as much as you. So I think, like this day and age now with like things like Patreon and like crowdfunding and all that kind of stuff, like to eliminate the middleman as much as possible. Like I still think like labels and management definitely still serve a purpose, Um like definitely like for like up and coming artists who may find it harder to get on that rung of the ladder without like a little bit of help and a little bit of guidance. But at least for like established bands, I think for us, it made total sense when we tried it out. The whole crowdfunding thing with the You Are We campaign, it just kind of uh, reinforced the belief that we've created like such a cool community of people who really care about what we do. And I think like the really important thing with the sleeps community is that like they don't put us on a pedestal and we don't place ourselves upon it either. We have created this like really cool community where we can definitely go for like a beer with like 95% of our fan base, which is really cool. So to be in that position now, like, I think, definitely, like I said, with You Are We campaign, we were like that really worked for us. And after that, we kind of like fell back into, oh, maybe let's try like the orthodox approach again. And then it kind of just didn't have the same feel to it. We were kind of like missing that sense of togetherness, like where everybody's in it
Mhm.
together. So that's why we did
Yeah.
the Sleep Society, and I think it was a perfect time um when we released that, because obviously the pandemic, everybody had a really shit time through that.
Yeah.
Musicians were no different, but we felt like the infrastructure kind of fell apart pretty easily. Uh and we were going to do
Yeah.
the Sleep Society anyway, so it felt just like a really poignant time to kind of do that when we didn't feel supported by the industry and our government and all of that stuff. So I definitely think it's a good thing going forward. Like I definitely think, bands are and creatives and artists are the one at the bottom of the pyramid propping it up, and they're usually the ones that get taken advantage of. So I think that anything that can help put the power back into the artist's hands, which in turn gives the fans the best product, then I think that's only a good thing, So I definitely think it is part of the future, hopefully, and
Mhm.
hopefully we kind of helped wave the flag for it.
I think that's so brilliant. And I think a massive thing that I really think is important to get across are like the bands behind the social media. Like there's such this, you can have like thousands of followers on social media, but if you don't have it in the real world, what's the point? And you need that substance. And I think that actual human connection that way is so important. Like you said, it can all just fall apart, and you're at the bottom of the pyramid. So you've kind of got to protect yourself, but have those around you that want you to succeed.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And like the whole kind of system's set up, you know, if the bands and the artists are at the bottom of the pyramid, then so are the fans, you know. Like they're not gonna get the best representation of the band who are under financial stress. And like I get it. Like when people just capitalize on things. It just happens, you know, and the music industry is no different. Um, so yeah, I think, you know, if people really care about the artists and if the artists really like value themselves, I think it's definitely a way to go. And then if you know, if you are gonna, it's not like that we've completely abandoned the system. Of course, we haven't. You know, we have booking agents, we have people working on our press team, like publicists. Like we can't do this alone. We definitely can't. But
Mhm.
we are very selective with the people we surround ourselves with now, and that's the advice that I would give to any up and coming band is just don't get blindsided by you know, somebody coming up and offering you something. Definitely do your research, dig into who they are, because there's a lot of snakes in the grass, you know, and you have to kind of weed them out. So yeah, you can it's a shame because so many artists and people have definitely had their dreams completely shit on, you know, and it's probably taken their life in a completely different on a completely different course than what they had dreamed. And it's such a shame, you know. It nearly happened to us for sure, but I think it's because we're such a strong unit of five people. We managed to pull our heads together and yeah, get out of it. But yeah, it's a shame, man. It's a shame, but I think that's just
Mhm.
human nature. There's good people and bad people out there, you know what I mean? And usually like the good people may be a little naive and see the good in people who are maybe not that good and we're going to want to take advantage of them. So yeah, I think you just got to be careful out there.
Yeah, I think
Wild.
that's such good advice. Don't fall for the shiny and look for the substance and how it's actually going to help you
Yeah,
rather than the words behind it. That's
definitely.
brilliant. Okay, so your new single To the Flowers, so it's off your up and coming EP, Self Hell.
Mhm.
It is so hard hitting and beautiful. When that landed in my inbox, I was actually really quite shocked at like how it made me feel. So what do the lyrics mean to you?
Um, I guess like I mean, To the Flowers in itself kind of means it's kind of like a message on like how finite life is, although it doesn't fit, especially when you're younger and especially when you're a young adult, definitely in your 20s. You feel like you're gonna live forever, you know, and but you know, and it's not like it's not supposed to be like you know, a morbid message. It's supposed to be like a reminder that, you know, like life could end tomorrow, or you could go through some like really difficult situations like at any time, and it's supposed to be a message of gratitude and um, you know, just like, and I think that's what probably, you know, not probably. I think it is what makes life beautiful, the finite nature of it, knowing that you've got this very like little precious time with you know on this amazing planet. I mean, the sun is shining right now. It's great to be alive, you know. And I
Yeah,
think because we have such a small finite time here, I think that just makes it all the more precious, you know.
yeah,
You're not gonna have your loved ones around forever. People, I think, especially 'cause, you know, I'm like in my mid 30s now, and like I've definitely like lost certain people in my life, and in every time those kind of situations happen, it just it fuels that the gratitude in you even more, you know. So that's kind of like the message like behind To the Flowers is that we're all gonna die. It's not meant to
yeah,
be morbid. We're all gonna die. So just fucking just do the best and seize the opportunity um in the life that you have. Because I think we definitely do that. I think a lot of people kind of just like, you know, are gone with the wind a little bit and are kind of like coast through life just thinking, oh, you know, like I'll start this thing tomorrow or I'll do this thing next year. And though that may never come, you know. Like
hmm
I think people like get so obsessed and so caught up in like, oh, I'm getting older now, and like seeing it as a really negative thing, and you know, like, oh, like you know, I'm turning 40 soon or whatever. Like I've only got this much time left, but it's like you need to stop gauging your life and how much time you have left because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know what's going
No.
to happen next year. The end could be a lot closer than you think. So do the things that you want to do now. Not
Yeah.
don't wait for it, you know. So I think yeah, it's just a message about being present and yeah, just being grateful for things, I guess.
I think that's perfect. I think I'm 40 next year, and it's kind of as I've got older, that has really resonated because it's kind of made me think, God, there's these things I want to do, and I've been putting it off and putting it off, and then it's just do it because you're gonna might drop dead next week, so just go for it. So I
Yeah,
think that's really
absolutely.
beautiful,
Yeah.
the meaning behind that. I think it's
Yeah,
beautiful.
and that's kind of what we tried to portray through the imagery of the music video too, you know.
Yeah.
Um which is definitely it touches on a lot of sensitive subjects, but they're things that happen in life, you know.
Yeah.
And I think one thing we wanted to do was be suggestive with our approach to it. We didn't want it to be so graphic that it would give a negative impact
Hmm.
around these subjects to whoever because you know, we were very aware that, you know, a lot of people are going to see this video and people, there's definitely going to be a lot of people who have dealt with those subject matters. And so we wanted it to be tasteful and we wanted it to like really embody like a positive message in a way, you know, really just trying to say like, you know, by the time you get to the end of the video, we wanted to really like have that message hit home that no matter how bleak or how dark like life can get sometimes, there's a glimmer of hope there. There's, you know, people around you that love you, like that you should never take the option where of the thing that you cannot undo, you
Yeah.
know. So that was what we really tried to put out there. But it was definitely I was very nervous about putting it out because of the sensitivity of those subject matters and because like the turnaround for the whole project, we went from concept to release in 40 days. So that was, you know, I didn't really have time to think about it until we literally was about to release it. And I was like, oh my God, I'm freaking out about it. But I've had like people like message me that have particularly gone through those subject matters that have said, you know, that actually really helped me. You did it in a very tasteful way. And
Yeah.
it actually was quite therapeutic because, you know, it made me feel some emotion. It brought out some emotions that I didn't know I was going to feel watching a band's music video that I've not felt in a long time. So
Hmm.
that was special. That was really nice.
Like my next question literally was going to be about the video. And,
Mm.
I remember when I first watched it, and again, I didn't expect it to be what it was. And it was so moving. It was so moving. And I even went down the YouTube wormhole, if you know, when people do their reaction videos.
I've
And
watched
even
every
like
single one.
and even like literally, even I bet you did though, thinking, but even like the really gobby and the talkative ones, they start off and then as it goes on, you see them go quiet and take it
Yeah.
in. And I
Mhm.
think that's a testament to it because you had the biggest hand in it, didn't you, in making it? And it's all self-done. Like what was the process for that like? That must I mean, did you say 40 days from beginning to end?
From concept to it coming out, yeah, which is just crazy.
Yeah.
It was a roller coaster of a ride for sure. I'm still recovering from it, to be honest, mentally, because it was so draining. But like, you know, I've been doing this for like 8 years now. I kind of know what I'm doing.
Hmm.
I have a blueprint, you know, of like pre-production, production, and post-production. I kind of just know what I'm doing. Obviously, every project comes with a new set of challenges, but that's kind of what like filmmaking is. It's just problem solving. It's just like,
Hmm.
what do we want to achieve? What are the problems going to be and how do we overcome those problems and how do we get the best image possible? How do we get the best out of our actors? So yeah, like it's just one of the classic Sleeps things where we have a million things going on all the time. We knew we needed to shoot a music video at the beginning of the year, um, but we didn't have any time to like figure out the concept. We knew loosely kind of what we wanted to do, but there was never like pen to paper. Like here's the plot, here are the beats, here's you know the whole story. You know, so it was the 2nd of January where we locked ourselves in the office and we have to do this now because we're filming in 2 weeks. So I was like, right, it just needs to happen today. And you know, I've been like writing like a lot of short films. I've wrote a feature film now. I'm writing my second one. So I kind of just know how to plot out a story. I know how to lay out the bare bones of a structure in its basic form, it's almost like a guide, you know. So I took what I knew, guided everybody through it, like got the idea down, and we got it down in a day, basically, all the scenes and everything. And then the next 2 weeks was basically pre-production, where the logistics of sorting out locations, actors, and then obviously like Matt had a big hand in sourcing like loads of stuff like the car that we used, how we were going to fill that up with water, building the drive-in cinema, all that kind of stuff. So it was all hands on deck basically. And then it was 2 weeks of shooting, which where I originally planned for it to be like day on, day off, day on, day off over a 2 week period. As soon as we got to the first day, I immediately knew we'd have to fill those days off because it was just, I was like, we're not going to fit all this in, because we tried to portray basically like a relationship that spanned, I don't know, like a few years, in shooting it in 2 weeks,
Yeah.
which was just mental. So yeah, we filmed that over 2 weeks, and then it was a week of editing, and then a week of color grading, and then I set it to premiere on YouTube 2 days before it came out. So it was cutting it fine, but we did it.
Sometimes you do your best work. I think when you're cutting it fine, sometimes that's when your best work comes. But it was
Yeah.
fantastic, and I did again. I went down the wormhole of all your little your horror shorts,
Oh,
and they
thanks.
were brilliant. There was one I was sitting watching, and it was the one with the old lady with her hands around the corner,
Oh
and
yeah.
literally I was like, but no, they are
Yeah.
fantastic. They're
Oh,
so
thank you.
talented.
Yeah, I'm just trying to like put in the practice for when I get to do my feature film, which I'm still just working towards. It's a mountain to climb, that thing, because yeah, there's not like a pathway to be able to do it. You just have to. It's kind of like, with the success of the band, part of it's luck, part of it's hard work, and as long as I show up doing the hard work, hopefully the luck comes at some point to be able to do it. So
Success doesn't come overnight, does it? It's
uh,
years in the making. It just looks like it's overnight, doesn't it?
yeah,
But no,
exactly.
it's fantastic. So, lastly, what can we look forward to seeing more of from While She Sleeps this year?
Um, yeah, I mean, this year it's another packed year. I can't remember what we've announced and what we haven't, honestly. So I know the things we've definitely announced. We go, we've got the Empiricon shows in a couple of weeks, and then we go straight on into our in stores, which is going to be like an alternative set, which is going to be cool. We're still in the midst of like writing that again. We leave everything to last minute, but yeah, it's turning out pretty cool. And then after that, a few weeks later, we go on tour with Architects in America, which is cool. And then just a bunch of the classic European festival summer. And then yeah, loads more throughout the year that I don't know if I can talk about. Maybe you know more than me. But I try
No,
and
don't
concentrate. I can try and concentrate of my meal in front of me, and like what.
worry.
Otherwise, it's just a
It's
blur.
literally what have I got on this week? Anything else doesn't exist yet. That's how my
Yeah.
brain works. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much same. Yeah. But yeah, obviously the album comes out in a couple of weeks, and we immediately jump into that cycle. Like I said, we're very busy this year with touring and stuff. So yeah, it's just business as usual, really.
It does feel though, I remember I saw you at Sonisphere 2010,
Oh my
and
God.
like it's so I know. So I just like to think, and I remember seeing you guys be like, oh my God, I love this band. And now kind of sitting here with you today is like really amazing. So like one, I just want to say like thank you for like being a massive part of like my kind of like my musical background.
That festival, that particular one where we played that was like our first festival, like proper festival. And I felt like that was the moment where it was like, okay, like there wasn't like the tent wasn't it wasn't that full or anything, but it felt special, that one. And it was like, all
Yeah.
right, this is going to be the start of something then,
Mm-hmm.
which was
Because
cool.
that year that was a Buck Cherry, Papa Roach. Oh God, Good Charlotte, It's Avenged
Rammstein as well.
Sevenfold. Yeah, that festival, that 2010, that was the year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it
that was
was,
fantastic. But it does feel like it's all coming back round again.
yeah,
I feel like, it's just really nice to see you guys all up on my feed again and just, you know, it's just really good. And I
yeah.
really hope this year is just amazing for you because you do deserve it. You put in all the hard work. So yeah.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. And thank you for today. I'll let you go because I think I've run over my 20 minutes. Oh, look, by 1 minute. Naughty girl. But
Oh,
thank
well,
you.
we'll live.
Thank you
All right.
so, so much. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank
And
you
have
very
an
much.
amazing day. Thank
You
you.
too. See you later.